Conversations with Hispanic Lifestyle's Latinas of Influence is presented by Wells Fargo Bank. With roughly 60 million Latinos in the U.S., we highlight Latinas of Influence, businesses surviving to thrive. We talk culture, travel, health, wellness, music, entertainment, and of course, food. Our passion is to share inspiring stories with the community. I'm Richard Sandoval, and this is Hispanic Lifestyle. God, I love your story, but before I forget, I do need to acknowledge your birthday, and so happy birthday to you. That was only a couple of days ago. Only a couple of days ago. You know what I really feel is missing in our space? I have an 11-year-old son, and he's watching these video games. That's the part that blows me away. He watches other people play video games on YouTube, and I just sit there thinking, you know what's really missing in this video game space is a Latina superhero. What are your thoughts? And what are your thoughts?
Those were well, I love you for that. Those were my sentiments exactly about 12 years ago. So imagine, you're just thinking about it now. I was thinking about this back in 2008. So in 2008, I went to my first Comic-Con, and it blew me away because I was like, yes, these are my people. Like, I'm that type of kid. I was that type of kid. I knew, lines from famous movies. I would play everybody's role, right? I would die in a very dramatic way since I can remember, and dress up as the characters. So when I went to Comic-Con for the first time, I had no idea what it was about. And again, it just blew my mind. And I was like, this is the most incredible thing ever. But very quickly realized, just like you, that there were no Latino superheroes at all. And if there were, they weren't like a very positive representation of us. It wasn't a reflection of who we were. And when I say us, I mean like the Latino community or African American or even Asian, because remember, this is before Black Panther and any of that, right? So, and women for that matter. And I was just, I don't know, I was disappointed. I went home and talking to friends and family, and very quickly realized like the only way that that's going to change is that if I created it myself. And very naively did. But I was very lucky. I created a comic book, and I co-created a character, a Latina character. And every Comic-Con, I was reminded of how much people were starving for that. And I was received with a lot of love. Every single time I would go with a new comic book, the nerves would pop up. Oh, no one's going to show up. No one's going to care. And every time I showed up with my little comic book, people showed up, and there was long lines, and people would tell me their story and say thank you, and they were really involved in creating Aluna as well. Like I really give the audience and the fans a lot of credit, because without them, she would not have evolved the steps that she did. So Aluna started as a comic book. Then we were able to license her to an online video game where she proved that she was one of the top 10 heroes chosen, was being played 90,000 times a day worldwide. She was chosen, and it wasn't just women or Latina women choosing her. It was people of all kinds around the world. And so every time that information traveled back to me and to people that had power, it gave me power to keep going and developing. And now she has her own video game. And Aluna, she's heading her own video game, and she's coming out late April, early May. So I'm hoping again that her fans and people who have been supporting me for years, I mean, I'm talking from way back in 2008, 9, that they are still following her story, and that they're proud that even if it takes 10 years, we are doing it together. It's been the community that has always given me the motivation and the valor to keep going. And so, I hope everyone plays Aluna Sentinel of the Shards this April or May. And it's going to be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. I can't believe I'm even saying those words.
I'm blown away. No, seriously, I don't know that I'm a gamer per se, but I'm definitely checking it out. I noticed that there are some comic books on your table.
Yes. These are the Aluna comic books. So we have 8 comic books. And so this is 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3.
How can you get those? Is it you go down to nobody goes down to their shop right now, but
I know
a place or a website or someplace online?
Yes. So you can go to www.theworldofaluna.com, or you can find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, Comixology. Really, they're available online. All you have to do is Google it, and you'll be able to get your copies. And you can have them electronically, or really appreciate the artwork and all of the hard work that has gone into them by getting a paperback. That would be awesome.
I got to get a signed copy here. This is
absolutely, of course.
Somehow, some way, I got to get it. Honestly, I really admired people like you that just see things as they are and say, why not change them? Do my own thing. And these are passion. I mean, it's passion is what it is. But I want to talk a little bit about the reality, the fact of a lack of Latino faces on television. I hate beating the dead horse, and the fact that the Oscars nominations were announced just recently, and just a handful of Latinos in technical and documentary. But talk about this. You've been in this industry a while now. What are your thoughts? And more importantly, why do you stay in this industry that just doesn't seem to acknowledge some of the contributions Latinos, Latinas, Latinx have?
So I want to put it a little bit into perspective. I've been a SAG member for 32 years. 32 years.
First of all, you are lying. I'm not calling you a liar, but the math isn't adding up here. You said growing up in the 80s, and I thought that's not. Now you're telling me 32 years? Wow.
32 years. One of my, so growing up in New York as a young actor, you obviously, I mean, if you're working, you're doing the Law and Orders and you're doing things like that, right? And then one of my big breaks was a movie called Dangerous Minds. And that was the first time that I was working with a huge producer. I was acting alongside of the likes of Michelle Pfeiffer, who's like, A-lister all the way, forever, a legend, right? And I thought, oh my God, I made it. This is it. They're shining the light on me, and other people are definitely going to see me, and they're going to give me the opportunity and give me a voice. That was not the case. And that was a huge movie. That was, it was fantastic for Paramount and Disney at the time. Made a lot of money, still is. It's still playing all the time. I see it all the time.
It is.
Good for me. I mean, it really held me over, and I'm very appreciative. But my point is that I struggled for a really, really long time. And if you compare my story to other actors with the hits, like the same kind of comparing, they didn't have those struggles. And it is because of a lack of representation and a lack of just people writing or casting for Latino actors. And also because we are put in this box, and when we are, that's the only box that we supposedly fit in. Now, throughout my career, I don't know why, maybe it's because I'm not very good at taking the word no. I've never have been. It doesn't mean I have a thicker skin than any other actor out there. I get hurt a lot. I get disappointed when I don't get things, sad even. But I don't take the word no as like no forever. I'm like, I feel like I hear it like, oh, you mean no for like right now, right? But I still have a chance. That's how I guess I perceive it.
I know what movie reference you have. I have a little chance. You're saying.
Yeah. So, you know, the reason why I've stood so long as an actor in this industry is because I can't see my life without being an actor. Being an actor is like breathing for me. It's like oxygen for me. I have to be, I love everything about it. I love being on set. I love being in front of the camera. I love telling a story. I love auditioning and getting it. It's a high that I haven't experienced with anything else. But I also have this thing where it's like, I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. And I think it's very common with a lot of New Yorkers. And so when you tell me I can't do something, I want it more. I want it even more. And so a good example of that, I would say, would be The Shield. I don't know, a lot of people don't know, but the way I got myself on The Shield, and I can actually say that, and Sean Ryan, the creator, can back me up. I started watching The Shield like everyone else, just as a fan. And at that time, I was just like, oh my God, this show is like nothing else I've ever seen on television. This is television like upgraded. This is being shot like a movie. This is amazing. I have to be on this show. And I was working a lot at the time. I was okay with making a phone call and telling my agents and managers like, hey, can you get me an audition or a meeting with the so-and-sos of The Shield? And when I did that, my own people at the time, and I can quote them, were like, oh no, they don't cast people like you on that show. And I was like, people like me? Wait a minute.
I was going to say, what do they mean like people like you?
Oh no, you're too cute. They don't cast pretty girls, or, you know, you're too soft or what. And I was just like, I just didn't understand that, because I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I've been playing cute little, you know, girls, you know, for a while or whatever, but I'm an actor. Like, just give me, you know, the lines or whatever. And I can give you edge. I can give you, you know, what you want. And so it was really heartbreaking for me. And I took that for about a year. And then I couldn't let it go, because that last season that I had watched just as a fan was just incredible. But there was a lack of, you know, because The Shield was about the LAPD. Right. And at the time I was like, how come, okay, it's LAPD, but there's not one Latina cop on the show? That's crazy. I was like, that doesn't resonate right with me. And so I flew myself out to LA. I begged and pleaded, and somehow, by the grace of God, I got an audition. And when I went in there, the casting director says, you are too pretty. You are too soft. Take makeup off. I don't know, go get your husband's shirt from the car. I know he's waiting for you outside. Put your hair in a bun. And then I'll bring you inside to the creators and producers, but I'm not sure this is gonna work. Like, I'm just being real with you. And I was like, okay, but at least you're giving me a chance. See, at least you're listening to me. You're giving me some feedback. I'm gonna take your direction and I'm gonna come back and kill it. And she was like, all right, go ahead. And so I went outside. I was super nervous. I got my husband's button-down shirt. I took my makeup off, put my hair in a bun. And I went inside and I did something that you should never do as an actor. I basically pitched myself. I told them how they had no Latina cops, and the LAPD is full of cops that look like me, and I'm sure feel the frustration of not being respected because they do look cute or whatever, or soft or small in stature. right? But not small of heart and of passion. And then I did my audition, and they looked at me like I was crazy, or I thought so at the time. And I don't know, I was lucky enough to get invited to do one episode. In the middle of that episode, the producer called me and he was like, "Do you want to be part of the Shield Familia?" And I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Do you want to be like in more than just one episode?" And I was like, "Yeah!"
You were, according to IMDb, you were in 32.
Yes.
So you went from 1 to 32.
I was happy with just one. Can you believe that? At the time, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be in just one. And I'm going to get to put the LAPD uniform on." And it was all of that. And that was more exciting to me than any other movie I had done because I fought for it. It wasn't something that I was being thought of for. Even my own people that are supposed to be like pitching me for jobs were like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that. You can't get that." And I was like, that's insane. How do you motivate your actor by telling them, no, they can't do that? That's weird. And so it was a big lesson. And the big lesson was, whatever I thought I could do, I probably could if I did my homework, if I prepared, and, with just a little bit of an opportunity. Yes, a lot of this business is luck. But when you do get lucky enough for someone to give you the opportunity, you have to come through. You have to deliver.
Didn't get enough? There's always more at HispanicLifestyle.com. And follow us on your favorite social media platform.